Book of Isaiah, chapter 57, 1 and 2. Is that up there, Sean? Anyway, it says this. Good people pass away. The godly often die before their time. But no one seems to care or wonder why. No one seems to understand that God is protecting them from the evil to come. For those who follow godly paths will rest in peace when they die. So, three things here. One, Joel was a good person. Plain and simple. And somewhat profound. Several of the things Landon said, I had written down here on my sheet. What made Joel good? I mean, Joel was friendly with people, and he really meant it. I wish I had saved his, those voicemails, you call up and, hi, this is, I'm not busy, so call me back, Anyway, on Joel's phone, that's what he said. And then at the end, he said, and have a great day. And he said it just like that. And have a great day. He said it from his heart, like he really meant it. Joel was patient. Seemed to be patient with problems and with people and with problem people. He was patient. Joel was a faithful husband to Myra and provider of his kids. He was faithful to his friends and he was faithful to his employers. He was a good husband. I was talking to Myra the other day, and she said, these last couple of years of our marriage, they were some of the best ever in terms of our relationship and our spiritual lives and so on and so forth. I think he was a good grandfather. I don't know how many grandkids get to visit their grandparents and ride around on a tractor to mow the lawn. Mine sure don't. But Joel was kind. Landon mentioned he was kind. He was genuinely kind to people. And he was also kind to dogs. I'll tell you, if you're a reincarnationist, there's not a much better gig you could get than to come back as a dog of Joel's. I kid you not.
Or Job still will. Yeah. Oh my God.
Joel lived in, Joel lived in his life in somewhat like a no-wake zone. Those signs they got up in the harbors, right? No wake zone. But Joel seemed to live his life in a no wake zone, even when he was in the middle of the lake, in the middle of a storm. It was just kind of, Joel was humble. Few people knew about his talents, about his knowledge. And I'll tell you, he did his very best to make sure it stayed that way. But he was a genuinely humble person. As Casey said, he was frugal. I work with people who are frugal. And to be quite honest, most of the people I work with that are frugal, I don't like to be around because they make me feel real uncomfortable. Like I'm some sort of spendthrift or something. Joel was a genuinely frugal person who was genuinely happy with virtually nothing, but you never felt bad or condemned when you were around him. Joel had integrity. You could trust him with anything. One time he lost a job. I happened to be around then. And, I called up on the phone and he said, well, I lost my job today. They let me go. I said, what? Yeah, they let me go. And I said, well, what for? And, to be honest, sometimes Joe was a bit of an airhead, kind of an absent-minded, thinking backwards sort of a guy. And I thought, well, maybe he drove a truck through the warehouse, a wall, or, I don't know, maybe he was 2 months behind in his paperwork, or maybe Steve Carlton wanted a, too loud, Jacob? Maybe Steve Carlson, wanted a Harvest Gold sink and Joel took him out an avocado one. I don't know. But anyway, he said, yeah, I lost my job. And I said, well, why? And he said, well, money went missing, and they figured there's only 2 of us who could have taken it. I almost started to laugh. I said, well, Joel, I said, maybe there were 2 people who could have taken it, but you sure as hell weren't one. Well, I said, Joel, I said, you taking money? The Pope will become an atheist long before you will take a quarter. It doesn't belong to you. He said, I know, but anyway, let me go. He handled it in that sort of no-wait tone. Well, anyway, ended up he got a new job, better job. He liked it a lot, liked the company he worked for, liked the people he worked with. So it all worked out well. And then, a few weeks down the road, they discovered it was, the other guy. Which, if they just asked anybody who knew Joel, they found it out. But Joel had integrity. He was informed, he was up to date. You could always find out what was happening in Delaware or Shopee or Clinton. He knew a lot about state politics and had some good convictions. And the thing I really enjoyed is he knew quite a bit about places and problems and people around the world that most people don't even know where or what they are. He was talented and funny. He could make up a joke. He could tell a joke as good as anybody on late night TV. I kid you not. He was helpful and sacrificial. He just went out of his way to serve others. Often, I'd come to town and I'd always call and say, hey, Joel, I'm off work at 5, and I'll be over your house at 5, and we can talk. He said, well, I won't be home at 5, I'll be home at 5:45. So, he said, well, I had some problem at the Abbey the other day, and they needed a valve, and they got the valve, and now it's in, and I'm going to take it over to them after work. I said, wait, the Abbey doesn't have a car? He said, well, great job. And so I said, well, do you get paid for this? And you get mileage? And somebody just, nah. And I said, well, Joel, don't worry about the Abbey. He said, oh, no, I'm not going to worry about him. He's going to do something about it. Second thing in this verse, no one seems to care or wonder why. No one seems to understand that God is protecting them from the evil to come. Just a little note, when this was written, Isaiah was writing this to a nation and a group of people, the vast majority of whom were totally uninterested and unconcerned about things of God, about things of faith, and so on. And they couldn't really care less about the very minute number of people who were. So when he makes that phrase, that's what he makes the phrase. Well, nobody cares or wonders about this. But in actual fact, for most normal people, when we face something like Joel's death, we do care and we do wonder. We do ask, why did God allow this to happen? And that's really what happened, isn't it? God allowed this to happen. Well, the answer that's given here is fairly general, and at least for me, doesn't add too much to the puzzle picture. There's something that God knows and understands, but what, when, why, how, where it is, it's not really very clear. It's some kind of protective or preventative measure. But questions like these are both legitimate and really important for all of us to ask. They're difficult, though, because they're troubling and frustrating. For some people, questions like this lead them to doubt, to disbelief, to rejection. For Joel, though, they simply confirmed that he was dealing and living with a God far bigger and smarter and more purposeful than him. He actually, this kind of thing actually increased his faith and his commitment. A few pages before this passage, God made an autobiographical statement, and it goes like this. My thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, says the Lord, and my ways are far beyond anything you could imagine. For just as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. I want to take just a minute and show you a video that in a small way kind of captures, I think, what God is saying here. Ready, Sean?